handoff. Oh my, and he's doing the dance as they celebrate.
For years, fans have poked fun at the NFL by calling it the No Fun League. At times, the league has attempted to stifle player emotions and personal expression by calling penalties for taunting and excessive celebrations. But if the fans like it, isn't it good for the game? Luckily, there have been some players willing to skirt the rules and push boundaries when it comes to on-field celebrations. They try to do it in a fun way without taunting their opponent. Not surprisingly, touchdowns bring out the best player celebrations. Some players plan them out ahead of time, expecting to find the end zone, while others let their emotions come out naturally. Then there are the downright ridiculous celebrations, so much so they become funny. At the end of the day, it's about entertaining people, right? That's why we wanted to celebrate a collection of the 10 funniest touchdown celebrations we've ever seen by NFL players.
Little game of hide and seek.
Few players have had more fun playing football than wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. With a nickname like Juju, you just know he has a fun personality. Even dating back to his days at USC, he was always dancing and coming up with fun ways to celebrate. But one touchdown celebration during a game against the Bengals takes the cake. After scoring, Smith-Schuster and teammate Le'Veon Bell mimed a game of hide and seek. Smith-Schuster pretended to cover his eyes while Bell ran behind the goalpost. Smith-Schuster pretended to look around and then spotted Bell. It was obviously choreographed beforehand, and give credit to Smith-Schuster and Bell for executing the gag perfectly. We just wish we knew who came up with the idea, because it's about as clever as touchdown celebrations get.
Instead, he'll just make a donation to the Red Cross.
For a few years, Ezekiel Elliott was one of the best running backs in the NFL. But he was never the type of player to have outrageous touchdown celebrations. But then one game, Elliott ran into the end zone from 2 yards out and then kept running into a large Salvation Army kettle that was positioned next to the stands. The large replica of the famous red kettle probably wasn't there for anyone to jump into, but Elliott's celebration felt both spontaneous and clever, not to mention funny. Elliott's only other memorable touchdown celebration also involved the Salvation Army kettle. Instead of jumping in this time, Elliott pulled out a couple of $20 bills and donated and put them into the kettle as a donation. That celebration was surely pre-planned, and a nice gesture. You probably won't find a lot of crazy celebrations by Wes Walker during his NFL career. However, while playing in a snowstorm during the 2008 season, Welker seized the opportunity to use the snow as a prop. After catching a touchdown pass from Tom Brady, Welker plopped himself down in the snow and made a snow angel. Unfortunately, the refs weren't laughing like everyone else. Welker was flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct and subsequently fined $10,000 for a snow angel. If you ask me, that's a pretty high price to pay for a roll in the snow, but Welker was okay with paying the fine for a fun and spontaneous celebration. Snow also played a role in another funny and memorable touchdown celebration.
Below touchdown.
Tight end Scott Chandler spent the formative years of his career in Buffalo, which gets a lot of snow. On occasion, fans even have to shovel snow in the stadium so that they have a place to sit during games. In 2014, Chandler showed solidarity with the fans by shoveling imaginary snow as part of his touchdown celebration. It's safe to say that anyone who's ever had to shovel snow in their life got a kick out of seeing Chandler do that. It certainly endeared him to Bills fans for life. Love him or hate him, Chad Johnson was quite the character. Excuse me, Chad Ochosino, as he was also called. In this crazy touchdown celebration, Johnson runs over to a cheerleader and gets down on one knee as if he's proposing to her. We assume it was just a gimmick and not a real proposal, but with Johnson, who knows? But that wasn't the end of the post-touchdown madness. Johnson, knowing the camera was on him, wrote a message to fellow wide receiver Terrell Owens on the whiteboard. Johnson also found a way to make it about himself, and at least in this instance, it was quite amusing. Speaking of Terrell Owens, he often brought attention to himself for his creative touchdown celebrations. He had some great dance moves and even found a way to incorporate popcorn and cheerleaders into his touchdown celebrations. But there's no more iconic celebration from Owens than the time he pulled a Sharpie out of his sock so he could autograph the football he caught for the touchdown. Some found it funny, while others saw it as Owens being an egotistical prima donna. But if you look at the touchdown he scored before this, it's hard to blame Owens for being full of himself. One problem with defensive players is that they don't always know what to do when they score a touchdown because they aren't expecting it. That was the case with Michael Boley, who won a Super Bowl ring with the Giants, but is best remembered for his hilarious celebration fail. After running back a fumble for a touchdown, He throws the ball as hard as he can right at the face of an intern who was standing just outside the end zone. It looks even worse in slow motion. Surely, Bully didn't mean any ill intent on the intern, which is why we get a laugh at this touchdown celebration many years later. Unlike some of the other funny celebrations, this one seemed completely spontaneous. Antonio Brown was so excited to take this punt to the house that he ran through the end zone and lunged feet first at the goalpost. As you can see, a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct came out right away. Also, Brown quickly fell to the ground, which made the whole thing even more amusing. Brown was no stranger to wild and wacky celebrations over the years. He certainly earned that right by being one of the NFL's most dynamic playmakers. But nothing he did was quite as funny as the way he attacked the goalpost after this punt return. Joe Horn is a name that NFL fans will remember forever. It's not because he's a 4-time Pro Bowler or a member of the Saints Hall of Fame. It's more because of his famous touchdown celebration. After scoring, Horn pulls up the cover around the bottom of the goalpost and pulls out a cell phone that he planted there before the game. Horn then proceeds to act as if he's getting an important call. Even if the refs immediately threw a flag on it was impossible not to laugh when that happened. Of course, younger NFL fans probably laugh at what cell phones looked like in 2003. Nevertheless, Horn's celebration is a timeless classic. In fact, many years later, Saints receiver Michael Thomas honored Horn by recreating the cell phone gag. If there's one player who deserves a lifetime achievement for funny touchdown celebrations, it's Travis Kelce. Not only does he have the 5th most touchdowns of any tight end in NFL history, but Kelce knows how to have fun when celebrating them. More often than not, Kelce busts out new dance moves or a unique celebration for his touchdowns. When you're one of the all-time greats, you earn the right to pre-plan your celebrations and enjoy yourself because you know it's only a matter of time until your next trip to the end zone. Just look at him busting a move one touchdown after another. It's hard to pick out just one that stands out. Of course, there's one that might stand out to some of his newer fans. With one of his last touchdowns, Kelce paid homage to his future wife, Taylor Swift, by trying to replicate her dance from her Fate-Ophelia video. It wasn't the best touchdown dance, but it might be the most memorable one from one of the NFL's all-time best tight ends and touchdown dancers.
The field, and that is a touchdown for Lance Moore.